But everybody will, every nation will be in the kingdom whoever submit and believe in God and His Son Jesus Christ, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Okay, but I'm gonna show you what Moses said to God's chosen people. All right, this Deuteronomy 28, chapter 15, and it reads, "But it shall come to pass if thou will not hearken." Hearken means to listen and obey. If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all His commandments and His statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So he telling the Israelites, if you won't listen to God, why? Because when they got in the wilderness, they was all complaining and crying, and they weren't listening. They weren't obeying God. So Moses, the Most High, told Moses to go back and tell them this: if you won't listen and obey, then all these curses was gonna come upon you and overtake you. Okay. So verse 16 say, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city." Okay. Now, when you look around in different cities around America now, this is how you identify and know who are the people God dealing with, because they are the people who had the God judgments. He gave judgment to those people.
Like, look, curse in the city right here. You see that? That's a curse. You know what I'm saying? The brother was strangled to death with a knee. You know what I'm saying? Or the white man's knee, man. You know? So like, that's a curse right there. You know what I'm saying? He died in the street, just like a lot of black people die in the street. You know what I'm saying? When they get shot, they just fall on the ground. You know what I'm saying? It said, "Curse shall that be in the city, and curse shall that be in the field." Because look, they had our ancestors what? Picking cotton. All right? You can clearly see that. They had our ancestors picking cotton. That's a curse right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got to pay for that. Okay? That's just wrongdoing right there. All right? That's what the scriptures say. That's wrongdoing. Somebody got to pay for that. But the only reason why the Most High put us through that, because like he said, we didn't keep God's commandments. So that's why that happened to our people. Now, get Numbers 35, verse 33. Now watch this, sister. Numbers 35, verse 33.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 35, verse 33.
God.
"So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are."
Right, so the Bible said not to pollute the land. Right, read.
For blood.
For what?
For blood.
Right, so that's when blood is shed, it's polluted. All right, read.
"It defileth the land."
Right, so blood defiled the land. Now, who did this to our people? America is defiled with blood. Okay? Read it from the top again.
Numbers 35 and 33.
God.
"So ye shall not pollute the lands wherein ye are."
That's right.
For blood.
For blood.
It defileth the land.
So it defiled the land. So would you agree that America is defiled with blood? Would you agree? When they genocide on the Native American Indians, when they brought the so-called Negroes on cargo slave ships, where, you know, they was throwing our sick mothers, children off the boat, and they was getting eaten by sharks. All right? So all this stuff happened, sister. You know what I'm saying? You run me 10 verse 12. You run me 10 and 12. Let me show you something, sister. Let me show you something.
Book of Deuteronomy 10, verse 12.
Yeah.
"And now, Israel, what do the Lord thy God require of thee?"
Right, so the Most High, He require of our people, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, of Negro and Indian descent. Read.
"But to fear the Lord thy God."
So the first thing we have to do is fear the Most High. Read.
"To walk in all his ways."
To walk in all His ways.
"And
Read.
to love him."
And to love Him. How do we love Him? Read.
"And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart."
So that's how you love Him, but this is, keep going, it's going to show you how to serve the Most High. Read.
"And with all thy soul."
Read. Now this the part.
"And to keep the commandments of the Lord."
Right, so that's how you love the Most High. By keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. Not to eat pork, not to eat shrimp, crab, lobster. If you're a man, don't make baldness upon your head. Don't shave your beard off, okay? If you're a woman, don't be a prostitute. All right, this is all goes into like loving the Most High. All right, let's show you some more. Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19. And I believe 17. Let's see if that's it. Leviticus 19 and 17. Let's see if that's what I want. Yeah, get that. Go ahead.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, Verse 17.
Con.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
Right, so we see often a lot of black on black crime. We see that among blacks and Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? Blacks and Latinos, we see that. Okay, you either have black people hating Latinos, you have Latinos hating black people, you have Latinos hating Latino people, and black people hating black people, right? Read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
Right, so rebuke your neighbor, okay, when he going off. You know how you rebuke your neighbor, tell him not to be a pimp, all right? Because that's going against the Torah, the laws of God. So if you being a pimp, you don't love God. I'm going to show you. Hold on, get that, Leviticus 19 and 29. I'm going to show you, sister.
The book of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 29.
Con.
Do not prostitute thy daughter.
Right, so the Bible said, do not prostitute thy daughter. Read.
To cause her to be a whore.
Right, so we heard, I'm a P-I-M-P, the Most High ain't with no pimps. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is not with no pimps. The Most High is not with the pimps. Read that again, read that again. Hold on, Salakia. Hold on, Salakia. All right, Salakia, go ahead, get that again.
Lest the land, from the top?
Yeah, from the top.
Do not prostitute thy daughter.
Right, so the Bible said, do not prostitute thy daughters. Read.
To cause her to be a whore.
That's right.
Lest the land fall to whoredom.
You agree with that, sister? Right? You agree with that? Because what often happens with our women? They go on Backpage and then they come up missing. All right? Then they get killed, you know what I'm saying, by some crazy lunatic. So that's why the Bible said don't do that, you know what I'm saying? Do not prostitute thy daughters, you know? Jump up to 27. This is for the men right here.
Book of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 27.
Con.
Ye shall not round the corners of your head.
Right, so the Bible said do not round the corners of your head. Read.
Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
Right, so you ain't supposed to cut up your beard, you know what I'm saying? Cut it real low so where you can't see it, man. All right, because a beard, it distinguishes a man from a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Bible say. All right, now let's get back to the curses. Deuteronomy 28 verse 61. Let's get that. Because we under curses, okay? Our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you see on this sign throughout history, we under curses, you know what I'm saying? We under curses. And the only way we could get from off those curses is by keeping God's laws, all right? Look, they sold us for $200. You see that?
That's the book
Somebody
of
got to pay for
Deuteronomy.
that. Go ahead, get that.
Chapter 28 verse
61.
61.
Can I borrow $10?
Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of the law,
That's right.
them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Right, so that's every sickness. Any cancer, high blood pressure, lupus, we go through this, okay? We go through these curses. This is how we know that we are God's chosen people. This is how we know that we are the real Jews, all right? Keep going.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people from one end of the earth even unto the other.
Right, so how did we get scattered, sister? How did we get scattered? How would you say we got scattered as a people when we was in Africa? How did they take us?
The white people.
Yeah.
I feel the white people.
What form of transportation would you say?
Well, when I was little, my mama told me they came and got us on boats.
Okay, now we finna get that 68. This is a curse right here. All these curses only fit one people, right? Go ahead and get that out.
With the Deuteronomy 28:68.
Con.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So what do the word Egypt mean? Do you know what it means? It has an actual meaning to that word.
Right. Well, my memory
It's okay.
is off set a little bit because I had an open heart surgery.
Okay. This is just synonymous for bondage.
That's all it means.
When we was in Egypt, we were slaves.
That's right. So the word bondage means slaves.
Exodus 22.
Right. Get that, go ahead, get that, yeah. So that's what that word means. And then on the back of a dollar bill, you even have a pyramid. What is that doing on the back of a dollar bill? Because America is the second Egypt. Okay, because what made America great? Slaves, right? Like Donald Trump said, make America great again. They want to put us in slavery. Ancient Egypt was great because they had slaves as well. So you had a black race of people that was enslaving another race of black people. So the white man copied that and brought us over here because he's the new Egyptians. That's why every movie that you see, they try to play damn King Tut, man. You see what I'm saying? They trying to be all the pharaohs and all. You see all them white because this is the second Egypt right there. Go ahead.
This just explaining what Egypt means, okay? This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 2.
Khan.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Right, so the Most High brought us out of the land of Egypt. The land of Egypt, read.
out of the house of bondage.
What is Egypt, read?
Out of the house of bondage.
So that scripture, it should have read, and the Lord shall bring thee back into bondage again with ships. That's what it read. You don't need slave ships to get from Israel to Egypt. You don't need that. It says ships right there. You know why? Because it's a different form of Egypt that we was gonna go in, a different type of slavery. And it requires slave ships. You see that? Slave ships right here. This Egypt right here requires slave ships. It's saying, read that again. Read that one more time.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right, so we was gonna go back into slavery again on the slave ships. You seen Roots, right? Goodbye, Uncle Tom. 12 years of slavery. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right, because we wasn't gonna see our homeland. Where do black people come from? Okay, what part of Africa we come from? Because they always say we Africans. Okay, but the Africans sold us. Did you know that? We were sold, the Africans sold us. That's how you know that we are not the same people. Two black nations, not the same people right there. Right, read.
And
Hey,
there,
I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Read.
and there ye
No,
shall,
Then here go the part right here. Read.
and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies
You see that?
for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Right, so nobody redeemed us. And we was African. Where was the relief? They didn't try to come help us, man. You see what I'm saying?
See when,
Go ahead, you got it out.
see when I asked you your nationality, you said two, the name of two.